Hello, and welcome to day 24. Day 24. So let's start quoting the Tao, because it's quite significant today. If you stand on tiptoes, you can't stand for long. If you take long strides, you will easily tire. If you are continually boastful and continually exaggerate, then you undermine your sense of self-respect and your own position in the world. So, quite powerful. What's that meant for me today? How I've interpreted those things? It's about being honest. It's about being vulnerable. It's about just talking about how it is, and recognizing that as you talk about it how it is, then it is from your perspective. We all get in positions in life, I'm sure, where it's quite easy for us to turn around and say, I feel like this as a result of this person, as opposed to, actually that's been said, and whilst I don't agree with it, this is how it's made me feel. And recognizing that actually other people are the metaphor in our life. Perception is projection. And whilst there is some stuff that can occur and things that can be said, we have to own our own reactions to things. So being honest and being open and being vulnerable, and recognizing that at times our emotions are our own feedback. Our own feedback is that when today's been a pretty stressful day for me in a whole host of different ways. And I just have to recognise that whilst on the face of it, I could probably legitimately turn around and say, it's been quite stressful because of this, because of this, because of this. And probably talking to loads of people, they would go, absolutely, those things were complicated, Ian, and they've been quite stressful, and that's not necessarily how they should or could or needed to have occurred, and you're probably quite right to have found those things quite complicated. But that stress hasn't been useful. Just because I have an external way of explaining it, it's not been useful, and it will never be useful. And you know, there's the old Navajo proverb that getting stressed with things and reacting badly and getting angry with things and being able to blame that on someone else is a little bit like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The only person that has been affected by the stress of my day is me. Absolutely, 100%, it is me. And so I've chosen today, in a whole host of the conversations, and what's quite magical right now is the number of bats that are flying around me, which is really cool. So I'm hoping that one of them will fly behind the back of my head, and there you go, and you get to see it on video. But it's just to be open and to be honest, and to recognise that actually that's all we can ever do, and being open and honest and vulnerable with ourselves. And we will only ever grow when we turn around and go, you know, this is how I feel. This is the pattern that I experience. This is how I notice my reaction to these things today. And maybe there is something for me to learn. And my learning today in my vulnerability, so a direct outcome of what I've experienced today is, you know, because there is part of today where I've stood on tiptoes, is to recognise that doesn't mean that you can stand for too long. It means that it's quite tiring. I've tried to fix quite a few things today. Someone needed to, but maybe I should have just accepted fairly early on in the day that those things were maybe beyond fixing. And anyway, it's as it is. But I recognise that I've tried today, and I've tried to carry the weight of a lot of things on my shoulders today, and that has taken its toll. And whether that is a noble toll or whether it's not, it's been a tiring one. And maybe there are days in this world where I need to recognise and just turn around and go, today is not my day to carry anyone else's load. today is my day only to carry the burdens that I have in life in order to be able to do the things that I need to. So for anybody that has ever spent any time in a classroom with me, certainly on a coach education program, then what you'll know is today I've taken a few chairs off a few people and I've carried them around for a bit before finally realizing I need to put them down, and I need to go back to those people and say to them, you need to learn to put your own chairs down. So day 25, I'm just going to be grateful that the bats have joined me. And yes, just in case anyone was wondering, I am wearing the same blue hoodie that I've worn for a few of these, but I love the statement on it. For those of you that have seen these before, and boy, is this an adventure.